Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opportunity Live, where we support community businesses. Now everybody, I want you to put your hands together and make some noise for your show host, Miss Opportunity!
Man, it has been a long time coming since our first episode, but aren't you guys glad that we're back? Yes, I'm glad to have so many new faces in here today. Today's episode is about encouraging. So we have so many business owners, so many business brands that are starting up in our community, and they don't necessarily get as much as support as they should if they were a mainstream artist. So what we want to do today is use our platform to actually acknowledge some of those business owners and those entrepreneurs that actually do a lot for our community. So we're going to hear a little bit more about their backstories, what it took to them to be successful as they are today, and what they can do to encourage us to actually follow in their footsteps and follow our dreams. So the first encourager that we're going to have today is Jack Brickhouse, the president of Panoramic Lifestyle Imagination Network. Make some noise.
Appreciate y'all. How y'all doing tonight? Good stuff. All right.
Yes, thank you so much for coming and joining us. There's so much that you've been doing with just having the network, having the clothing apparel line, and then the books. What actually got you into becoming an entrepreneur and starting your business?
So I come from the Midwest. I'm from Gary, Indiana, right outside of Chicago. Went to school in Chicago. So I come from the mighty Midwest. I know we got some Midwest people in here. So you know, that whole energy that's in the Midwest is all about hustle. Some of it illegal, some of it legal. You know,
right.
But I know a little bit about both sides of it. But to kind of stay on topic there, so I started my first business young, like you are now, 20 years old. So I had a cousin. You guys all know about the essential oils and all of that, and fragrance oils. So my cousin had a connect in New York City. So we winded up getting different oils and everything shipped in from New York. And when I saw what the pricing strategy on it was, it's like we spent $5 and make $30 back. Right. I'm like, this is better than some street pharmacists, drugs, and narcotics. I'm like, yo, we need to take this. So we went out and we were in the streets of Chicago, hustling, going to beauty shops, barbershops, all of the neighborhood spots. We got to the point where we were making like $700-800 a day. We took that, turned that to a storefront in one of our local malls, and we ran that for a couple years. So that was the beginning of my entrepreneurship.
Okay. Now, everybody know when you got a side hustle, the money always seems better than corporate. So what made you say, you know what? Instead of just making small money, I'm actually going to turn this into an empire. What was that starting point to make you say, you know what, it's time to expand? Yeah,
so I mean, I've always been a student of business. And back in high school, when government and econ, like I excelled at those classes. When I learned about stock and how you can take your money and triple and quadruple it and turn it however you need to, I was really into that. And then I also, on the business side of it, I learned about all the loopholes and the benefits that you have by becoming a legitimate business. You can hustle just as hard on the legitimate side, actually even harder than you can on the illegal side of it. And from there, I kind of took it. I got with my partners back then, and we structured again, and we decided to set up that storefront. And it really benefited us. Again, we had a consistent spot. We were legitimate because we were in a place of commerce, So
right.
With us being young black males, even though we were young, they took us serious.
There you go. Now, coming from that kind of background, especially being in the Midwest and things like that, like you said, being taken serious, did you find yourself ever, being doubted because you didn't have a certain, degree or anything like that? Was people trying to doubt you or anything like that?
Oh yeah, no, most definitely. So I had my son at 17 years old. So the doubt started, super early for me,
right.
And that was one of my major motivating sources. Was I didn't just want to be a statistic. Like I already came from a city that was at one point murder capital of the world. You know what I mean? So statistically making it past 18, 19 years old, like that wasn't supposed to happen. On top of now, I have a kid. I had my daughter at 20 years old, so I had two kids 20 years old. So that was my major driving force to really go and be more than just that statistical number when they refer to us in our neighborhoods and urban communities.
Right. Now, being a father, being a businessman, being a mentor, and actually have to show that representation, you know, what is it that makes you want to say, well, shall I say this? Because like you said, there is a statistic for it. How do you balance that? Like, how do you be there for your son? How do you continue to be that person where other people that you're not related to can actually look up to but still be a functioning businessman?
Oh, I mean, it's tough. Like, you know, life in general is about sacrifice. Every time you make progress, you're going to sacrifice something else. That's
right.
In the business world, that's in the personal world. You take it into a career field such as, I want to be an attorney or a doctor. Yeah, you're going to make a lot of money. You can put the Maserati or whatever you want to put in the driveway. You got the $1 million house, but you're going to sacrifice time because you're going to be at the hospital 18 hours a day. You guys watch Grey's Anatomy and House and all those other shows. You know how that goes, right? So it's always going to be a sacrifice. And when you're an entrepreneur, you sacrifice even that much more. As an entrepreneur, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Like, it doesn't stop. And in my case, my wife is in business also. So all day long I'm in business meetings, and then I come home and get in more business meetings. All I want to do is turn on the TV. So I had to take care of my stuff at home, which is personal. Again, you try to find time to spend with kids and family as best you can, and you just hope that your sacrifice for your business is worth what you're doing as your kids get older, and you know, with the things that you'll be able to provide and the information and things like that.
Right. Definitely giving them something to look forward to and something that they can actually pick up a skill set so they can have on their own.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So with Panoramic Lifestyle, like we said, you mentor, you have your own books, you have the clothing. Tell me a little bit more about each one of the things that you do. Yeah,
so Panoramic Lifestyle is several entities all wrapped into one. It started off as just a clothing line. I had one of our associates who was supposed to be here tonight that had to travel, Harry Robinson, and his brother Adam Robinson created Panoramic Lifestyle, the name. And for years, Harry had been telling me, I want to do a clothing line. I just need the name. And so we were kicking it one day. He said, I got it, Panoramic Lifestyle. I said, man, that is it. Like, that's the name. Definitely roll with that one. And I'm like, well, what's the motivation behind it? He said, a vision moves in all directions. It takes a team to do all of this. So I said, let's create a movement. Let's make Panoramic Lifestyle a movement. And so what I did from there is reach out to a lot of entrepreneurs that I had relationships with. I said, let's all come together and let's take on projects and refer clientele to each other, and we can really roll through this city and take over. And that's what we've been doing, not just on the for-profit side, but on the nonprofit side. We do a lot of stuff behind the scenes in the community, law enforcement, the education system, agriculture. We're tied in a lot of different places out here. So that's the movement part of it, and we're continually recruiting. We actually have signed a contributor deal with you to distribute this show, which was a great power move for both of us. So that was a great thing. And then the final portion of Panoramic Lifestyle is now Panoramic Lifestyle Imagination Network, in which I founded, president of that company. And we try to bring great shows like Opportunity Live and all of these great organizations that we're affiliated with in the community. We try to help them to get their voices and their messages out into the community. So we're not really celebrity-based. Again, we're looking for community leaders and people in the community who are looking to do great things but just may need a little help or a little push. And then we also bring in new entrepreneurs who may just be starting out and just kind of mentor them. But we mentor them by helping them to create opportunity or bringing them in on opportunities that we have.
Exactly. And that's what this platform is about, is finding ways to bring us all together. Society has this thing where it's like it's me. You know, it's all or nothing. It's all about what we do. But if you open it up, that door of opportunity, you know how they say opportunity is knocking? It stays open if you're willing to actually have a team. If you're willing to say, you know what, you're better at this and this, you take over that part. You know what, I have this part, I'll take over that part. So when you put everything together and you surround yourself with like-minded people, it's limitless opportunities. You know, sky is not even the limit.
No doubt. I say ceilings are for residential and commercial properties, not for me.
Perfect. Well said. So with everything that's going on, for the entrepreneurs that we do have in the audience right now, what is one piece of advice that you would give them to actually want to start their own business and move forward?
I mean, that's the way the Constitution is structured. You're supposed to be independent out here and be on your own. That's why you guys hear, and you know, on the news around tax time, or even when it's outside of tax time, they're like, all the businesses and corporations got all the tax deductions. Well, that's because they're entities of themselves. They don't depend on the government. They're not asking the government for anything. So when you become a business owner, even as a small business owner, you get some of those breaks also. Those things affect you. So when you take your life into your hands, yeah, it's a lot, as we just talked about here. Like you're working all the time, but you're working all the time for yourself, and you're building wealth and legacy for your family and for your loved ones. So it's your constitutional right to do so. You know, if you have something, stick with whatever your plan is, your service, your product. Put it to you like this: I seen a gentleman who was into, I guess, like medieval toys or whatever, and so he does women's hair with swords and blowtorches and charges them out the ass for it.
I saw that.
You saw that.
I wasn't going to do nothing like that, but
Yeah.
I saw that.
No, that's nuts, right? So
Yeah.
that tells you right there, like, you can do
Take
any.
a blowtorch to my head.
That's what I'm saying. And so he's convinced. Think about what he had to do that. He convinced somebody. First, it only takes one person. If you can get one person to buy in anything you're doing, you can get 2, you can get 10, you can get 1 million, you can get whatever your number is. He had to convince somebody, whether it be his mom or his sister, whoever, to let me try this out on you. All right, would you let your dad or your brother try that out on you? You just said, no, it's not happening. So that was half the battle. So when he got somebody to do that, then somebody else did it, and here we are watching it across the pond. I think he's like in England or something like that. So you can do whatever. Don't think anything is stupid. Your support system is also going to be important, because people who are still working just a regular 9 to 5, which is not a bad thing, they just won't understand your woes. So that's part of what we do in our circle. You know, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you need to hang around other entrepreneurs to really get that support.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming out and encouraging us and telling us more about your business, what you do for the community, and what the community can do for you. So thank you again. And everybody, we're just going to take a brief break, but we'll be right back with our next encourager for this evening. Thank you.